Hi, thanks for watching. So it's July the 10th, 2018, and that, my friends, is Jupiter Direct Day. Jupiter has been retrograde since, let me see, March the 8th this year, when it went retrograde in 23 degrees Scorpio. It is now going direct today in 13 degrees Scorpio, but it isn't egg-shaped like that, so let's just do something with the background. That's better, or at least I think it is. Jupiter is a very, very fiery planet, actually. It is a gas giants. There's all kinds of things going on there involving fire and burning and the general inferno of the universe. It's been blazing for a long time. Anyway, Jupiter goes retrograde every year for about 4.5 months, and I say every year, it's actually about every 13 months. That's what I'm trying to say. Every 13 months. The next one begins on April the 10th, 2019, and goes on till August the 11th. But that's very much another story and something that I'll be here a year from now making a video about, if not 6 months from now, trying to get in there ahead of the competition. Why not? So Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. I'm keenly aware of that because I'm one. So it is all tied in with the Sagittarian energy and the Sagittarian traits, which can be about great enthusiasm, can be about springing back. There's a lot more to it than that, of course. I'm just generalizing there. But let's look more deeply. Jupiter is really all about abundance. It has to do with reaching out to other people. And because of that, it's a very sociable kind of influence, and it brings tolerance as well into situations where Jupiter is involved, and even where Sagittarians are around, or at least the great majority of positive thinking Sagittarians. People tolerate one another a bit more. And a better word for that really is allow in spiritual terms. If rather than kind of tolerating something, you don't really like it, tolerate it. I mean, that is a very human thing to do, and it is a very good thing to do. But if you can have it in your heart that you will just allow people to be themselves, that is a fantastic thing. That really is what Jupiter is all about. Knowledge, social kind of insight as well. A lot of insight comes along. Sagittarians are very, very good at having insight, sometimes a little bit too far, and starting to get insight into things that aren't actually there and aren't really happening. But that just tends to be the way it goes with Saggis, because whatever the planets are up to and whatever the planetary influences are doing, we live in this world and we experience it in this world. These things play into our lives. None of the planetary retrogrades actually bring trouble. None of them actually cause the things that happen. They're simply the times when these things happen, or at least that's what I think. Gosh, it's a big subject and nobody really knows. Astronomy, I'm sure, is going to meet up with astrology one day, and it's all going to make a lot more sense along those lines, because as out there as things are, and as out there as the name of this channel is, and as out there as I am, I do actually believe all these things are real, because so many people see them, so many people experience them, and astrology has been followed really since the beginning of time. People needed to observe the planetary movements just to grow crops, and then they began to notice certain behaviours, certain traits that they could kind of associate with a particular planet being closer than usual, or perhaps with the phases of the moon, which is really what kind of ties down the astro weather. It is the closest body to us, and the moon alignment does affect things mightily. But there we go, Jupiter actually turns direct, 10th of July 2018, which is a Tuesday, which is actually today. If you're watching it on day one, well done, it's Jupiter Direct Day today. It happens at 1:02 p.m. In Eastern Daylight Time. It's kind of in New York, on the eastern side of the States and Canada. 3 hours before that at 10:02 a.m. Pacific. 5 hours after that at 6:02 p.m. here in UK. And goodness me, 13 hours after the UK time, so what is that? It's 7:02 a.m. tomorrow. Jupiter is going to go direct over New Zealand in that part of the world. So it's a massive track, really. It goes on for a long time. It's a bit like when you get a solar eclipse, such as we're going to have on Friday the 13th. Nice and lucky this year. You know, these things always have a path across the world. When there's an eclipse, sometimes we call it a path of totality, you know, where you can absolutely it is a total eclipse in certain parts of the world. And so it is with any planetary alignment, really. It's happening. I mean, I'll give the times because it's nice to be precise, and it is good to know when these things happen. But it's not like you're going to look at your watch and say, all right, Jupiter is going to go direct now, and it all suddenly happens. No such luck. It'd be great if it was that easy to predict. Basically, as it stations direct, Scorpio is going to be the main astrological influence coming from a number of the planets. That Scorpio influence is really quite a powerful one. Scorpios certainly know how to enjoy themselves. They can be very friendly, but where the Scorpio influence is involved, the colours of things tend to turn black and white. The moon is actually in Gemini as this happens. She will, or will she? Let me see. I've just tapped in the wrong place on the page and lost it. Goodness me. No, the moon will actually be in Gemini as this happens, and then there'll be a void, of course, and she'll be in Cancer by tomorrow. But anyway, as we come to the end of Jupiter retrograde, which this time around has had a lot to do with positivity in the soul, but also kind of toxicity getting in. Jupiter has actually passed over a planet, and I'm looking at it because it's difficult to pronounce correctly. High has actually passed over that planet on the way through to going direct at the moment. So immorality and deceit, that kind of thing, imprisonment, being bonded into things that are difficult, have a lot to do with that, and we may have experienced that. It depends where Jupiter is in our chart. We may have experienced that in recent times as this alignment came along. But although things might still be awkward, although things could actually still be very difficult, the long-term future looks really good. And if you just look a week or two ahead, great things are happening. Great things are happening this week, actually. Blood moon and a half, if ever there was one, on Friday the 13th. Also a solar eclipse on Friday the 13th, and a Leo moon on Friday the 13th, which allows you to go, wow, and sort of get out there and enjoy life a bit more, because the Leo influence is all about exposure. So there is a lot of positivity going on generally around the end of this retrograde. Retrograde isn't necessarily a bad thing. It really depends a lot on what's in your birth chart, and very much on you as a person as well, how you actually feel about the whole thing, because that's what really matters. I mean, you wouldn't be kind of looking into astrology if you didn't care about that kind of thing, eh? Okay, well, that is a pretty good look at it, I think. I mean, just think about that poisoning of the personal values that has probably happened and come in around that time of Knuckle High and Jupiter passing over that. That is moving. The poison is kind of being diluted now, and things are coming back to fruition, back to positivity. And, you know, although there are many other retrogrades going on at the moment, they are never a reason to get upset or down about it. I mean, July is kind of like the spaghetti junction of retrogrades this year. It's just the way it's been this July. Okay, thanks very much for watching. If you're new around here, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm here every day doing some astrology early in the morning. It's the astro weather. That's why I do it every day, because it changes even more often than the weather. Anyway, lovely sunny heat wavy weather here in UK at the moment, so I'm going to enjoy it. Have a brilliant time, friends. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you again soon.